This is Season 2, Episode 21 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we're here with some nonsense.
As promised, we said we'd do something a little bit different. So we are using the 312th Squadron points. I think Squadron. But we're also doing something a little bit different because anybody who happens to have a spare weekend in the tail end of October will be down in Cornwall for the Cornish Nationals. And on that note,
but we'll go with it.
Sorry?
Bold claim, but we'll go with it.
But on that note, it's a 2-day event with obviously Top Car and a day 2 event. And so for the day 2 event, what we've decided to do after a bit of begging and pleading with the rest of the squadron, Sam and I are going to bring Balance of the Force into 2.5. For anyone who's never heard of that, that's fair enough. It's a couple of tournaments we did during lockdown in those couple of years. But basically, we're just trying to create some list building rules so you weren't flying against the same meta stuff all the time. And back then, we based it on initiative. So for every low initiative pilot you had to bring a certain high initiative. Now, that doesn't work quite as well in 2.5 mostly because of the point system. So we've done it via the point system. Now we're sort of playing this one as we go. We're using the 312 points today. The event, we're hoping to use XWA points, which earlier got announced for a release on the 1st of September. So hopefully
that'll be
fun. So we'll use that for the day 2 event as well. And so depending on how they shake up, we might tweak it. But the current rules, relatively simple, are basically for every 2, 3 or 4 point pilot you must have a 6 point or more. If you have an odd number of ships, it can come from any thing. So you could take 2 6s and 2 4s, 2 7s and 2 3s. You could take 4 5s. You could take 3. You could do a 3 3 2 and 2 6s if you wanted. But it's trying to just cut out a lot of the.
It's trying to cut out a lot of the really good stuff, and also lower the ship count artificially.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
You're basically capped at 5.
Yeah, you're capped at 5. But also, it's not. You can't take the Republic arc list, even with 5 ships, where 3 of them are 4 point arcs and are really good. Yeah. Like, you're going to have 2 beefy ships. You're going to have 2 not so expensive, whatevers. And yeah, we'll play around with it until we get a little bit closer. We'll lock it down. Probably by the start of October, I think, so everyone's got a good month to list build. I mean, honestly, I think probably within a fortnight of looking at the points, we'll have it set. So yeah, let's jump straight into that. And Sam and I have gone down the same route for our list building. In 2 big and 2 little ships ish.
I feel like your littler ships are better than my littler ships, though.
Yeah. So I've looked at Rebels because I was just looking at what factions had a decent amount of changes from the current ones. And the thing that caught my eye was I like a 4 point U-wing. So hey, K2SO 4 points. Now, for anyone watching on YouTube, the overlay does not do the new points yet. So sort of ignore them. We adjust it on the points at the top with the scenario points, so the points are correct. But where it says K2SO 5, he's not, he's 4. Here comes a 5 loadout, so I've just slapped Magva on him. Like, great.
Makes sense.
He gets a stress, he gets a calculate, you shoot him, and he gains a lock. Brilliant. Leia in the Falcon is 6 points. So there's my 4 and my 6 matching. And actually, I had an interesting trying to build Leia, because in these points, she only has 1 crew, which I think the Falcon might have anyway, but she has no gunner slot. So, you're not bistoning on that. So I ended up with Heightened Perception, Ursa Wren, electronic baffle, and engine upgrade. Because I put Ursa on for get the lock with the force for the double mods and heightened perception, and then I was left with 2 mod slots and some points. So that's what we ended up with.
Engine upgrade is not bad.
Well, that was I was thinking. A white boost is always nice. We then have Braylon Stram in the B wing. This is custom Braylon, who has
regular B,
who has dropped to 4 points. He currently has 10 loadout. And so I slapped plasma torpedoes, which have gone up to 6 in the new points, and proton cannons, hoping to get that double tap. You barrel roll into a lock, you fire your plasmas, you double tap the proton cannon. He's stressed, so those proton cannons are double modded. He can use his mods on the plasmas, so he doesn't have to spend the lock. Anyone who actually hasn't played him, because he hasn't been on the table for quite a long time now, his ability is different to the Endor ones. It's basically when he's stressed, he can re-roll up to 2 of his attack or defense dice. And honestly, I just think that's all he needs. He's too expensive at 5, but at 4, I think he's well worth it. And he doesn't need toys. He doesn't need a great big whacker loadout on there. I personally, I think he could even come down from 10. I don't think that would be an issue.
I think it's more like if he proves to be an issue, whack his loadout down rather than whack his points up.
I think he's a solid 4, but he's going to punch hard, but lots of things punch hard. But also, it's 1 agility. Yes, he's going to reroll, so he will live longer, but he will die because it's 1 agility. But yeah, with him being another 4 point, I had to bring something 6 or higher. I only had 6 points left in my list, so I bought Chopper. Because who loves Chopper? Everyone loves Chopper. And Chopper is running the standard manic war criminal Chopper build of dorsal turret, Saw Gerrera, and veteran turret gunner.
Yeah, so you got 2 big boys and 2 slightly less big boys.
Yeah.
And seeing this, I now wish I'd gone with my original plan, but this was for the memes, and so I wanted it. Because I'm playing Separatists, as I always do, and I have 2 3-point ships, so I've got 2 bombardment drones with proximity mines, because in the new points, they can take them again!
Is that because the LV have gone up, or prox mines have come down?
The LV has gone up. They've got 10 LV now to match the prox mines. They can't take the fuses with them, which is actually painful. It hurts a lot, as I found during this game. And then to match that up, I've got 2 fire sprays. So I have Django and Aura Singh. Because Django is down to 7 points in the free 12 points. But he's also lost some loadout, so he can't take all the toys. So I've got Savage Press, Elusive, Contraband, and the Slave 1 title on Django. And Aura has gained points and gained a Force talent. So I gave her Hate, Elusive, and Proton Bombs and Overtuned Modulators. And I will admit, when I was building the list, this was supposed to be Contraband, but I must have misclicked, and I just sort of went with it.
Fair enough.
Because I figured it wasn't going to be bad.
I mean, I'd argue those overtune modulators may have cost you the game, but
maybe. I think at the time you were shooting me with the strain, the game was over. Let's be real.
Fair. So we're playing salvage, and what can we say about the objectives?
I thought some mosh.
Yeah. It's 4 of them are clumped on as I'm looking at it, the right hand side, with 1 down in my bottom left.
Yeah, because you placed 1 in your bottom left, and I placed 1 dead center as far back as I could. Then you placed 1 on my side, basically to your right, as far up as you could, just on the center line, like anyone normal would do. And then I basically placed it on the right-hand side on your side, as close to the center and that one as possible, to basically make a triangle of 3 as close as I could, because I wanted to force a clump.
Yeah.
Because my thought was, my fire sprays are high enough quality, and I want the cluster mess for the prox mines.
Yes. Rocks, we just decided to jam them all together as close as possible, with the exception of one.
You started placing my Pride of Mandela rocks presumably sensibly, and then I started placing your small tiny rocks in the tiniest circles I could in and around that cluster of objectives.
And once you've done that, I was like, fine, we'll create a clump, because at least it's going to make it hard for your sprays to get through it then.
Yeah.
And
we dodged rocks pretty damn well.
Yeah. And then we go to what I think is my biggest mistake of the game, which is my chip placement. I don't like this at all in hindsight. Because... So I put Chopper basically below the one that's in the objective in my bottom left-hand corner, thinking he can one straight, pick it up, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't have done that. Oh.
Why?
Because I should have put him over where the clump is. Because...
To be brutally honest, I thought that's what you were going to do. And when you didn't, I was super happy. Because then I was like, well, now my fire sprays go opposite whoever is here.
Yeah, exactly. Chopper is my biggest gun. I should have just put him there. And he could have just gone up to the centre line. You know, if you set up opposite me and we end up jousting, fine. Because that's an interesting joust. Yeah. I have more better guns, but you have prox mines.
Yeah.
Like... I don't know.
You have more better guns, but I have weird nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like Chopper is quite happy to be at range 0, and I'm like, well, my bombardment drones are quite happy to take the range 0, and if you're shooting them, you're not shooting my fire sprays, and if you don't shoot them, prox mines.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a mistake. I'm first player for turn 0, so I set up we overlap at 3-4, just 3 and 4 actually. And then I set up K2SO, and I set him up basically looking down a gap between the two rocks, because I was going to go in and then turn, and it's just I think a continuation. Like, I think after where I set Chopper up, I should have just set him up next to or near Chopper, and then committed to picking up the one in the bottom corner, picking up the one in the centre, maybe snapping the one closest to me, but honestly, it's unlikely you're going to pick up boxes with both your fire sprays, because you're going to want to boost.
The bombers are going to be the bomb picker-uppers.
Yeah. So if I could have just nabbed 2 instead of worrying about outscoring, that would have been fine. Yeah. Then you do your bombers.
Yeah, so I placed one of my bombers basically on my far right, pointing along my board edge, roughly spaced so that I can move fast, move and grab my home objective. I figured, like, there's not a whole lot Sean can... If Sean wants to stop that, he can, but he has to then leave his objective behind, and then I'm kind of okay with that. It's not like, if you're committing a ton of stuff for a bombardment drone, that's honestly not the worst thing in the world for me. And then the other one just goes opposite a rock on the left-hand side, aiming to basically move forward and grab one of the sensor crates.
Yeah. So I set up Braylon basically below the centre objective. My thought here was he'll just go into the centre. He can get around the rocks. He wants to do barrel rolls and get his lock or his focus and be stressed. Yeah. Plus, I wasn't sure where the fire sprays were going, so the 2 bombers doesn't help me at all.
So then Aura deploys to the left of my bomber, aiming at the big rock clump, because K2SO is there. So I'm like, okay, it's yeet forward and put pressure on K2SO. If Braylon comes around, then Aura should trade okay into Braylon, and I'm planning on having Django to back up Aura anyway, because now I know where Chopper's going. There's no point me deploying opposite him, because it's just going to go badly.
And then I make the really... Like, I assumed Django was going to go down next to Aura, but I thought, there's a chance he puts Django next to Chopper and tries to, blast past, shoot out the back, blah, blah, blah. So I set up Leia in the bottom right corner to kind of force you to put Django there. And I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. So what I should have done is I should have set up Leia I think at this point, actually, quite possibly on the left-hand side of Chopper. And then
Yeah, I can see that because then you can spook my bomber.
well, that, and I can just full straight boost, and
Yeah,
because it's a white boost, I've still got the dial open. Like by turn 2, I can be near enough in the center objective from there.
yeah.
And like if you do a full straight with or if you decide to do a full straight with the fire sprays, you've committed into either the cluster of rocks or past the rocks. I can hard turn everyone down there, so at least we're jousting along my board edge, or you're going through the rocks, which lowers your options. Or you'd have to one hard, I think maybe a two hard, to cut inside your rocks. Like it's easily telegraphable after the first turn, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whereas by putting Leia where I did, and then by putting Leia where I did, and setting up with her turret facing forwards,
like you basically told me like either
jousting.
Leia is going forwards, or Leia is not having Leia is not shooting or not having a token.
Yeah, I should have set up side to side if I was committed to that, and I think I should have set up and turned away. But yeah, this whole bit I think for me was the biggest mistake, and then it was just trying to recover from this because
which you did. You did. Come on.
Well, I mean, I won, but I think that was more your mistake than my recovery.
Yeah, but I think also it was to me it was a sign of like, I have 2 3-dice guns and 2 2-dice guns against 4 3-dice plus guns, because obviously Chopper's a 4-dice, and I was like, I just got out traded.
I mean, you say that. Did K2SO actually shoot once this game?
I'm pretty sure he did shoot at least once, right?
We'll find out.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I just think I would have been better setting up closer together in a block and.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And
like whether your block is in the clump or not in the clump, it doesn't matter. I think as a block you'd have done better because you're closer for K2SO shenanigans.
Yeah. Because even Chopper from where he is could threaten the yellow bombardment drone because a 4 straight 3 bank.
Yeah.
Gets him shooting at it, and then starts coming round the side, round the back of the other bombardment drones and the fire sprays and the. But hey, it's hindsight. It's great, It's.
Yeah.
So
hindsight is always perfect.
Let's get into it. And yeah, Chopper just.
And Django goes in the far left. We kind of skipped over that one, but yeah, Django goes in the very far left next to Aura because I'm like, oh, Leia's there. All right, 2 fire sprays versus a Falcon. I'll take that.
Chopper does a 2 straight and reinforces because get practice in. And K2SO just a 1 straight because I wanted. Like at this point, I knew we were jousting, but I wanted to slow it down. I was hoping to get Chopper in with a 3 bank the next turn because I thought if I'd done the 3 bank the first turn, I end up just putting myself facing towards the Pride of Mandalore rock. I thought this would get me towards the gap. I think actually what I should have done with K2SO here is stopped, but that's great hindsight.
Yeah. And then my bombers, I do a 4 straight with the 1 going down my board, and I calculate because he's setting it to grab a rock, and I do a 3 straight onto the rock with my other bomber, and this is a stupid mistake, and I'm going to blame it on my eye being off on TTS, but I land on the rock, and I look at the objective, and I'm like, oh, I can't claim the objective from here. I should have done a 4 straight, because I think I would have been able to, or it would have been close enough that I'd have tried. Maybe I'm misjudging it, but I'm like, oh, now my bomber has to go forwards and really doesn't want to be doing that. He wants to be sitting at the back with an objective, ideally.
Yeah.
But he calculates, we are here, here is where we are, but unfortunately I'm already thinking like, poo. This is a horrific misjudgment.
Braylon does a 3 bank, stresses himself. I basically set it up because I figured I can do a straight blue next turn and then barrel roll to where I need to be.
Makes sense. Aura does a 4 straight, and I up where you are, and I think, straight boost, because that gives me options. I can turn into the rock mess if I think I can make it. I can just go straight quite far, and that should be relatively okay. I can even, Like there are lots of options depending on where Leia goes. And so I just sit there because I'm hoping to plink off some damage off Leia because I was pretty sure I was out of range of Braylon and I wasn't sure about K2SO.
Leia just does a 1 straight and focuses because I didn't think I could stay out of range of a 4 straight boost, but
yeah. And Django does a 4 straight boost, and we just start shooting into Leia. So I end up with 2 hits out of hand with Django, and Leia dodges after spending the Force. You shoot back into Django and do nothing, I believe.
I think I shot into Aura because I was hoping Braylon would have the shot.
Yeah.
But I do nothing.
And then Aura shoots into Leia, and I roll 3 hits, and Leia takes 2 shields.
Yeah. Okay, alright, fine. But now it's like, I'm still not in an ideal position because Chopper's too far out of it. And, like, your fire sprays are almost not impossible to block, but it's so hard to work out where you're going.
They've got too many options.
Yeah.
I will say, though, what you do is really good because that really gets me, basically.
I still think it saves my own skin a little bit as well, but yes and no, and we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah.
So Chopper does a 3 bank to try and sweep into the center, and I pick up the crate because I've got to start ticking up some objective points. And then I do a 2 hard with K2SO to come inside the rock because I was semi-hoping maybe Django had done something a bit fast or thought I was going to 1 straight and 4K behind me or something like that. I think I should have just 1 banked.
Yay and nay. Because what this does is this blocks Aura's 4 straight.
But it doesn't. It's what I do with him, and I still could have done it with a 1 bank.
No, because I do have 3 straight of Aura, and I think that would have landed. But this definitely blocks Aura's 4 straight.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is,
yeah,
like what I do in a set. Right, so hang on. So I do the 2 hard, and then I coordinate Leia a boost. So Leia boosts, which is why because of engine upgrade. I get a stress and a calculate. I still could have done that with a 1 bank, and then at least my arc would have been facing the right direction.
That is true.
And I looked at that boost and went, I think I hit the moustache rock, which is quite funny at the time.
So my bombers, so the one on my backfield is a 2 bank and picks up the crate, and the one on the rock does a 2 straight off the rock, and I take a big sign. I think I pick up the crate here, don't I?
Yeah, I think so. No, you calculate.
Yeah. Oh no, I calculate because I'm like, I don't like where this is. I think you'll just. I thought Saw would just ping it off straight away, so I took a calculate to try and just stop damage.
Yeah, I've done a 2 straight with Braylon. Instant regret for not doing the 3 straight, because I think I could have rolled into a lock to the left, lined up the bullseye, and double tapped the bomber. Yeah. But hey, so I focus and then purposely fail a barrel roll to get the stress.
Aura does a 3 straight, bumps into Leia and takes the red focus.
Leia does a 1 straight, bumps into Aura, or stays where she is, and takes a red focus, and I should not have taken the focus here. And this is why. Because what have you just done?
Right, Django 1 bank to the right and took a target lock on Leia.
And I can't use Ursa Wren because it's an action. I had the Force. Yeah. I should have just... Because, like, if Aura shoots me, it's range 0. If Django shoots me, I've only got 1 green anyway, and I've got the Force. I should have just...
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Because also, I don't have to lock the person who's locked me. I can just perform a lock action, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. But, hey-ho. And then, we go to some shooting.
And you decline to... Heightened perception, and Django shoots range 1 into Leia. I roll hit crit, and reroll a blank into a blank, and put 2 more shields onto Leia.
Yeah. I go, I think range 1 into Django in the end. I am know about going into the bombardment drone, but no, range 1 into Django. I end up spending the focus for 3 hits.
I roll 2 focuses. I elusive a focus into a focus, which I think might be the most unlikely result to do. And then I spend I spend the force for 1 evade.
That takes 2.
Yeah.
Braylon. Braylon goes range 1 obstructed into aura. And after his rerolls and focus ends up with 3 hits and a crit.
I roll 2 evades, and then I remember it's obstructed, so I roll a third one. I roll a blank. I elusive into a focus, spend the force for an evade. I take 1 damage, and hate gives me the force back. So then aura takes. I think about doing the range 0 into
Triggers first.
Leia, but first I spend my force to move Leia's stress over onto K2SO.
And this badly screws me. Like, I gain another calculate, but
Yeah, you gain another calculate.
I am
But what
never.
I wanted was for K2SO to never get an action again.
and boy, he doesn't. Yeah.
And then I shoot you range 1.
Yeah.
And I end up with 3 hits.
I block 1. I acquire a lock from Magva because it's acquire. It's also irrelevant. And then it goes to your bombardment drones.
Yeah, and I believe I do range 3 into Leia.
Yep.
I roll hit focus. I spend my calculate for 2 hits because I just didn't think I was surviving the chopper shot, because at this point, for some reason, I thought dorsal turret goes out to range 3.
No.
And I was just assuming I would get murdered.
Leia is now shields down. I only have range 3 shots from Chopper, so I go into the red bombardment because I figured he'll be who I'm shooting most likely. I roll 2 hits, 2 blanks.
I roll 2 evades, and I apologise to Sean for my dice.
That's a dice.
I take it back at the end of the game, mentally.
So yeah, 1 point each at the moment. But
yeah, 1-1.
I'm definitely down in the damage race, and I think positioning. Yes. But
because yes and no, and I think that it's only because it's one of those things where I was like, aura taking the red focus. I think I think I definitely needed to, because Braylon had a glorious shot.
Yeah.
But this kind of messes aura about.
But on the flip side, K2SO has nowhere he can go. He doesn't bump into.
Yeah, K2SO is having a bump train.
But bumping into his own
is
the and yeah. Yeah. What I should have done.
The bombers I'm happy with. Django, I am honestly I'm just not sure where all your ships are going, and you have enough guns that you could kill me. So I just tried to play it as safe as possible.
That's fair. Whereas I'm kind of on the, okay, choppers come in at last. Can we try and kill at least one bombardment drone before it starts dropping prox mines on me?
Yeah.
So I do a 1 bank with chopper into the center, and take a reinforce.
I 1 straight my red bombardment drone, the guy who's got the objective in the center. The guy who had the calculate in the center, he goes onto the rock. I flip the struts and I claim the objective. And this isn't because I think I can keep it. It's because I just wanted to prevent you from picking it up with either Braylon or Leia.
Yeah.
Because I thought Leia might do a sneaky 3 bank and grab a box, because I took her stress from her. She's now opened up her dial. So I was like, I'm just going to grab it to prevent you from having it this turn, because I don't think I'm living. Chopper's right there. And the other one, I just do a 2 bank to the right, going up the center, and I'm thinking just short, and I take a calculate. I'm just in front of a rock. I can 1 straight onto it, but I'm looking at my proximity mines and being a little bit sad at this point.
So I do 2 hard with K2SO, which bumps into Leia, like I knew it was going to, and he takes a damage.
Yeah. I do a 3 bank with aura because I'm just desperately trying to not get blocked. I'm still stressed, but I got the rear gun into K2SO.
I do a 1 straight with Braylon to clear his stress. I then focus and fail a barrel roll on purpose to get it back, because I figured either Django's blasting past me, but I've got a range 1 shot into the bombardment drone. And Leia does a 3 bank, and I opt to rotate, because at that point I've got the force. I've got a range. I've got 2 4-dice guns into that bombardment drone. I was hoping to Well, honestly, I was hoping there's every chance I kill it because it's got no green tokens.
Yeah.
All right, one of them's only got a force for mod, but one of them's got double mods. And then Chopper would be free to shoot Django if he's turned in that way, and put the double tap into Django. What was my hope?
Yeah, makes sense. It's a perfectly reasonable hope. Then Django one hards into the back of Leia, and I take the red focus because I've got at least one shot coming into me, and I just need to not take damage if I can avoid it at this point. So you decline to heighten perception, and then I and ah a ton because I look at shooting Braylon, and I'm like, but there's just no point because all I could possibly do is maybe strip your shields. You're probably not spending the focus. I could shoot into Chopper, maybe strip some shields. So I actually go range 0 into Leia because your shields are down, and just maybe I crit.
I still think that's the right call.
And I do get 2 hits.
I blank out, so it's 2 damage through, down to 6. I range 1 into your bomber. I roll 1 hit and 3 blanks. Sad. Gonna have to use a chopper shot.
Yeah. I roll blank focus. So I take a damage. Then Aura range 1s into the back of K2SO. I roll hit, focus, crit. I spend the force for 3 hits and a crit.
I roll 1 evade, so I take 2 hits and a weapons failure.
Yay!
Braylon goes range 1 into the bombardment drone. I use his rerolls and the focus for 3 hits and a crit.
I roll blank evade, so I take 2 hits and a crit, and it is a weapons failure, I believe.
So, if Leia had rolled statistically average,
yeah, he would be dead.
But hey ho. But you drop the crate.
Drop the crate.
You get to shoot.
I shoot range 3 into K2SO because at this point I'm just like, I just want to try and if I can just get lucky and plink 1 damage, the proton bomb next turn kills you.
Yeah.
And maybe I should have gone range, but it was the same choice of do I just start trying to plink shields off Braylon? There's no point. It's 2 die. It'll be 2 into 1. I could plink a shield maybe. I want to try and go for the luck play into K2SO.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it doesn't work out, which is fair. Then my other bomber just shoots range 2 into who's this? This is range 3 into Braylon, I believe.
No, I think this is 3 obstructed into Leia.
Yeah, 3 obstructed into Leia. I roll hit crit, and then lament that I didn't shoot Chopper, but how the hell was I supposed to know I was going to roll a crit?
Yeah, I mean, I roll trail mix, so I spend her force for 2
so you dodge it.
And then I have an interesting choice to make, because get to Chopper. I've got range 1 shot into the bombardment drone. I've got range 2 shot into Django. I opt to take the range 2 into Django to then double tap into the bomber. Statistically, I should get it. But I also know that if I fail to do that 1 damage, Braylon's taking a prox mine the next turn.
Yeah. Either Braylon or possibly Leia at that angle. It's like...
Nah, you go past Leia.
Yeah.
But
either way, someone's taking 1.
Yeah, so I go range 2 into Django with the primary. I roll crit, hit, focus. I take a damage with Saw for 3 crits and a hit.
I roll 2 evades and take 1 damage and die.
No.
Oh, wait, is it?
No, that was the shot into Django where I think you spent the force to get a second evade, and now your shield's down. And then this is the range 1 dorsal where I roll 3 focuses and Saw for 3 crits.
Yeah, and I horrifically die. My poor bombardment drone. But I kind of always knew he was going to die. And that is, at least in my mind, it was all chaining from the fact that I just misjudged that bloomin' first turn where I had to then move forward to potentially grab the rock.
And it's like...
honestly, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have just stayed on the rock and accepted that he was just a 2-dice turret.
Yeah. But it's like, at this point, Leia and Django are on the same hull left.
Yeah.
But K2SO's down to 2.
Yeah.
And double stressed, and
I don't think he can escape the proton bomb that's coming out the back of Aura. Which I do drop. But I do have choices with Django, and I think I picked the wrong choice. Even though at the time I thought this is the choice I need to make. Because anyway, going into your turn though, I drop a proton bomb from Aura because I'm pretty sure K2SO can't avoid it.
Yeah. I hard 2 Chopper, which bumps into Braylon. I knew it would bump into Braylon, but I mean, like an idiot, I've put Chopper in the middle of the cluster of small rocks. I actually think I avoid hitting all of them, but
You dodged all of them.
But I think the only maneuver I had that would only result in an enemy overlap is a 3-bank, and I think that would have put me on the little rock. So I'd rather just take the damage and at least possibly have a shot into the aura.
Yeah, makes sense.
I take damage from it, so I'm down to 1 shield.
My remaining bomber does 1 straight onto the rock, flips the struts, and calculates.
K2SO does a hard 2. Stay stressed.
Aura does a 1-bank, and I then boost to the right, trying to get out of range, out of arc of Chopper.
Leia just does a 1 straight and takes a focus.
I think Braylon bumped into Django.
Oh yeah, sorry.
As well.
Yeah. I did a 1-bank. No, sorry, 2 hard to make sure I bumped just into Django.
Yep. And then Django 1-banks after Leia, and I'm not sure. Like, I feel like this was right at the time, but there's a small part of me that really wanted to, really looking at it where I was, thinking I should have tried to go left and regroup with Aura.
Problem is, if you'd gone left, would you have left yourself in Chopper's turret, Chopper's arc?
Well, I think in hindsight, knowing where everyone, I wouldn't have moved basically.
Let me just scoot back. Oh, that's tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tight.
That's tight.
But
yeah, that's.
It's hard to know. Like in my head, I was like, actually, doing this is fine. I guess maybe that what I should have just Aura should have tried to get back in a lot more because she's my full health fire spray and Django's shields down, so needs to really try and dip.
Yeah, that's fair. The proton bomb goes off and it does catch K2SO. It's a fuel leak, so he's on 1.
I believe you decline to heighten perception. Then I go to Django, and I have too many choices. In my head, I was like, why didn't I just put Veteran Tailgunner on? Oh, because it's it doesn't trigger very often, and there's less ships, so it won't trigger very often. But I only have 1 shot with Django. And I opt to go into K2SO because I just want to remove the ship, and it's range 2 into K2SO, and rather than just try and pump damage into Leia, I wanted to just try and make sure that K2SO get removed. Because now that the proton bomb wasn't a direct hit, I don't actually have a way to reliably say K2SO is dying at this point.
That's fair. I still think personally I would have gone into Leia at range 1. Because
I'm looking at it now thinking, it would have been nice.
Because next turn you can swing Aura in to start plinking at Leia. I'm still double stressed. I'm not going anywhere massively different with K2SO. All you've got to do is one hard left with Django, and you'd still have a shot out the back.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was just thinking of the immediate gains of if I can just remove the shot before it happens.
Yeah,
because
I mean that's fair. But I also think the fact that I've got a weapons failure as well.
Yeah,
but that's personal choice, isn't it? I get why you made the decision and the logic behind it. It's always that if you can remove a ship, remove a ship. I just think Leia's, with the heightened perception particularly, and the fact that Django is now, no shields and
like the simple fact is that I need to put as much damage into Leia whilst you are not making sure, whilst you're not I7 basically.
Yeah.
I think had you heightened, I reckon shooting K2SO is the correct choice. But now because you didn't, I should have shot you because I've got you in the back arc for the crit from Slave 1, and who knows what that could have been.
Yeah, exactly.
But I shoot K2SO. I got 2 hits and a focus. I spend the force for 3 hits just to make sure you die.
Which you needed to because I did roll 2 evades.
Yep.
I range 2, I think it is, into the bombardment drone with Leia. I get crit focus, so I spend her focus.
I get evade focus, so I spend my calculate for 2 evades, take the crit, which I believe is it's
a loose stabilizer. Yeah,
which is fine. I ain't going anywhere.
Aura doesn't have a shot, so it goes to Braylon, who's range 1 into the back of Django. I roll 2 hits, 2 focuses. I reroll the focuses for 3 hits.
Yeah, I get 2 evades, so I take 1 damage on Django. My bomber does nothing to Chopper.
Chopper has no shot, but I score a point, and we're currently 6-6.
Yes, so it's close, but I think I'm losing the damage race.
I think it comes down to the Leia Django trade, quite honestly, at this point. That, and depending on how fast I can get Chopper back in, because he's kind of facing it.
Yeah.
Like, I ummed and ahed this turn about hard turning after Aura, but I was like, all she's got to do is like 3 bank boosts, and I'm not.
Yeah, it's
catching
interesting
up with
because when I saw what you did, I was like, oh, I wish I'd hard turned, but because I was like, he's hard turning, I need to get away. So I pop overtune modulators just on the off chance that I've misjudged what Chopper is doing, and also just so I can just have a bunch of mods, and I can, when I boost, it means I will still have a bunch of mods if I still have a shot into Leia, depending on where she goes.
Yeah. Chopper does a 4K because I just wanted to turn around, have a better idea, see where you've gone. I can still hard turn left if I need to. I can fall straight back into the center because I know it's not going to hit a rock.
Yeah.
Don't care about the stress because he's got Saw.
So I reveal a 3 straight with my hyena, and I just stay where I am on the rock. I probably should have rotated, but I didn't think Chopper was going to be going that fast. I thought Chopper was hard turning after Aura just to try and really chase her away.
Yeah.
Um,
Braylon just does
what it is.
Too hard into the back of Django. Cool, just keep him turning around basically. Don't need the token, got the stress.
Aura does a 3 bank and then boosts because I'm trying to line up a shot onto Leia. Oh, my bomber picked up that objective I dropped.
Yes.
That's what he did.
Leia does a 3 hard round the rock and just takes a focus because I thought Django would cut inside.
Which I did because I do a 1 hard and then I boost to the left.
Oh, see, I looked at this and I was like, it doesn't fit. And I was waiting for you to press it and it go, he tried and failed. And
yeah, but it does fit.
Anyone who's watching on YouTube, that is 1 ship. That is not 2 ships. That is 1 ship. There is no gap. But yeah, it goes. So I'm starting to peel some damage now. So I heightened this turn.
Yeah.
Just see if I can strip the focus from Django. Anything that's going to give me an edge on the shots back. I go into Django. I roll hit focus, and I opt to spend and go aggressive.
I roll evade blank, so I take 2 damage. So that's 3 health left on Django. So I shoot back at you out of the back. I get hit focus crit. I spend the force for hit crit.
I roll an evade, so I take a damage and a fuel leak.
Aura shoots range 3 obstructed into Leia. Unfortunately, doesn't get any focuses, so I get hit.
I get 2 evades,
which you completely blank.
And then we have Chopper, who has a range. So I had a range 3 shot into Aura, or I had a range 3 obstructed into Django. I opt to go obstructed into Django. It's 4 on 4, but no mods for you. I've got Saw. I kind of figured that was the best option.
And had you gone into Aura, I had a lot of mods.
Yeah. I roll hit focus blank. You Django trigger.
Django the blank.
Critically. I roll 4 greens.
I roll 4 blanks.
So it takes 2. So that Django trigger literally saves you there.
Literally saved me.
And then we score a point each for 7-7.
Yeah, Django triggers are all about the ones you remember because they'll always save you. It's not about the ones you forget.
Yeah, but now I think I am starting to edge ahead because Leia's still alive and Django's on 1, and I've got.
I dealt 2 damage to Leia and took 5 on Django.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Chopper to have a shot that turn.
Yeah, but what is interesting is I wasn't sure where Django was going to go because I thought I could bank after. I figured you were going around the rock, and I could bank behind you, but I was like, but then I'm probably not doing anything with Django, and I think I needed to.
Fair.
That being said, the consequence of that is my bombardment drone does get to keep its objective.
Yes.
And here is where I should have just done the bugging out thing with Django, but I don't because I'm a greedy mother trucker.
I was expecting a 4 straight, and
yeah. But in my defense, we'll get to it. what I thought was happening wasn't happening.
I mean, that's fair, but I still think the 4 straight's the right call. But
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I drop a Prox Mine in the vain hope that you're turning into it. I don't think it's going to hit anything.
Chopper does a 4 straight, but I'm back exactly where he was. Because I figured your bombardment drone would be there, because he can't 2 straight. Django was in the way, so let's go
my
double
bombardment
tap.
Drone rotates 90 degrees towards where Braylon's going to be.
Braylon hard 2's in, stay stressed. Cool.
And then Aura hard 1's to the right into Django, and I honestly could have sworn I put in a hard left. And so I bump into Django, and I'm like, oh, well, poo. And I take a damage, which is unfortunate, because my plan was I was going to hard 1 to the left, and then I was going to boost around the rock to try and block Leia.
Which is fair. I do a 3 bank, which skirts around the Prox Mine. And I end up, basically, where I am at the moment, I'm in the side arc of Aura. I'm behind the bomber. So I'm not getting shot, which is great for Leia. But I'm like, I need to plink that 1 damage off Django. And I was still convinced you were just going to 4 straight and boost away. I was like, then that's just 7 points sat there that I'm not getting. And then suddenly it's an almost full Hellfire Spray against Leia. And I'm not going to win that one. I was like, so I was so close to boosting to the left. Or boosting straight just to widen up the arc. I was like, but that will put me into Aura's back arc. And I was like, I don't think I should take that risk. So I just take a focus, I think.
And then I contraband, revealing that I'm doing something stupid.
Yeah,
I 3 Talon to the right.
I did not see that coming in a million years.
I had to go backwards, just trying to get some distance, because I know what. Basically, the moment Aura turned the wrong way, I was like, this game is over because Django is now dead. Because I just didn't think there was a way that Leia wasn't shooting. I tried. I go backwards and it's close, but unfortunately Leia has a focus and heightened perception, so she's gonna I7 at me.
I do. It's range 2, not range 1.
Yeah.
I roll trail mix. I spend the focus, so 2 through, but 2 greens.
Yeah. I roll focus blank. I elusive that I've just got back my blank into a blank. I spend the force for 1 of aid and I die. Unfortunately.
Braylon goes into the bombardment drone and after rerolls gets hit crit.
I roll 1 of aid, so I take a crit, which I believe was a direct hit.
Yep.
So I dropped the crate, which we didn't do, but I'm sure we'd have remembered.
It's fine.
Aura goes range 1 into Chopper.
Yep. Rolls
hit crit.
Many stuff and he ends up with a wounded pilot.
And then my bomber goes into Braylon and does no damage. No, does 1 damage.
Knocks a shield off.
Knocks a shield off.
Chopper goes range 1 into Aura because you're strained. I roll hit, crit, focus. I'm like, sure, I'll take a damage to make that second one a crit because they're going through.
I roll an evade, so I take a pile of damage.
And then left. And then I double tap with the dorsal. I roll 2 hits and a focus. I take another damage to make that one a crit because again, it's got to go through.
I blank out and die.
And thus the game ends.
And so, interestingly, like I should have 4 straight. I should have 4 straighted or 3 banked and boosted with Django to get him out.
Yeah.
But the irony is Aura literally died almost 100% to 0 to Chopper.
Yeah, but that I think is a combination of A, you dialed in the wrong maneuver and the wrong way, and how often that doesn't actually happen that often. And B, I had 8 dice there with no blanks.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. Like I had great dice earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about the dice. I'm just thinking, oh yeah, no, I shouldn't. I think this is what I came up back with is that in this list in this format, I actually think because the average ship count is going to be 4 or 5, I think you need all of your ships to count, and I think my mistake here was bringing the bombardment drones instead of gunships.
Yeah, that would be
because the gunships would have just lived a little bit longer, and they're always going to have some sort of modded shot.
Yeah.
I think that's the core. That is the core of my mistakes. I think I've brought two powerful ships, and I've chosen to not the two bad small ships. Whereas had
Yeah.
I chosen two good small ships, this would have been a very different game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
I mean, I've really enjoyed Braylon in this game. Like,
yeah,
just because
Braylon's good, man.
it
4 points. Braylon's good.
I didn't use the plasmas. I didn't use the protons. Although I could have literally used the protons on this shot that we just did, actually, because it was range 2.
Yeah,
But that's not me. But like, it's just a solid base, and I enjoyed it. And Chopper's great. Leia, I probably just need to fly a bit more. K2SO, I hecked up, but I almost bought in the 312 points. Is it Yendor, the
yeah,
I5 SL X-wing from the Battle of Endor that nobody plays because
yeah.
he's 5 points and the same as like Wedge and Luke is 4 points.
Okay, that could be interesting.
And I'm pretty sure has a pretty reasonable. Sorry, let me go look him up on Yasby quickly. From what I remember, where are you? BOE. Let's look for some BOE. Yendor. Yeah, so it's a trap, plasmas, stabilized astromech, so after he fully executes a maneuver, he can spend 1 charge to perform a white action even while stressed. And then his ability is while you perform a primary attack, you may gain a strain token to reroll one of your blank results.
That's pretty damn good.
So, like, for 4 points,
It's mini disc.
yeah, like he's and in this list, he's like at I5. He's likely to be shooting first, or could be shooting first. Definitely, there are.
That's definitely worth a look.
Yeah,
I think what it comes down to is in new points, different pilots are definitely worth a look.
Yeah.
And I got nostalgic about proximity mines, and then actually, in a fit of being quite balanced on that ship, not being able to take delayed fuses really, really hurts you. Because when I wanted to drop them, knowing I was moving first, I couldn't because I was like, well, I'm going to move onto my own prox mine.
Yeah, that's fair.
With a fuse, I could move onto my own prox mine, and then you'd be there because you might not be expecting it to be there because I would be moving into it.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, I mean, maybe a few players like Django at 7 with less loadout felt kind of fine.
Yeah, like not having to worry about the force and bombs and
Because there's just less stuff. Like I could have force and bombs.
I still think,
but then I'd have 1 point.
I still think personally, on a fire spray chassis, a force crew and elusive is too much because of the two greens when you've got that much health to chunk through anyway. Yeah. But that's my personal take. Like honestly, chop him down 1 more point and then you can't take it, right? But no, like I'm all for like 7 points for any fire spray. I think is fine, possible exception of Bobber.
I think Bobber and Zam are the exceptions.
I think Zam, but you just do it with the loadout. Like I think Zam with almost no toys, like Zam without a force crew.
Yeah, I can see that
at 7 points. I don't think is necessarily bad or too OP. It's the fact that you normally just load them up with everything. Because back in 2.0 double sprays, you were looking at like 100 points worth of of shit. So what were the sprays like? They can't have been about 70 points, give or take 60, 70 points. No, about 70
usually
points.
Something like
that.
Something like that, yeah.
But there are ways, and I hope that I know for the foreseeable future, XWA points will be the 20-point system. But I hope that when the new points drop, they have looked at loadout as well as just standard squad points, because I think that was thoroughly underused by AMG.
Yes. I think everyone can agree on that one.
But it would have been you could have done so many more. This pilot, It's too good to be 3, but too bad to be 4. Cool. Make it 3 with no loadout, or 4 with loads of loadout. Like,
Yeah.
Don't make Poe 7 points with 50 loadout. Make him 6 points with like 10. Like, right, maybe not 10, but like don't let him take Protorps and Overdrive and R4 and all the other shenanigans. So he's super Poe, because he's not viable. I mean, it's a bad example actually, because Poe is reasonable in resistance. But you know what I mean. Like there are options, but we'll wait and see.
There are things you can do. Yeah. We wait and see. Like we tried this out. It was interesting. Like I think. Like my point was like it wasn't quite as oppressive because like once you take off some of the toys, actually, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way of messing with it because like
I think for me, because obviously I play against. Well, I say play against Django. I play against you when you play Django. That build you had there was much less oppressive because there were much less got your moments, or I can do this, or I can. It's like just you'll do your things. Cool, you got contraband, so you can do contraband stuff. But like most of it is your own triggers, and it'll just go through and like, hey, I've done this stuff. It's my trigger. Here's my dice result, rather than Or I mean, obviously his ability, but apart from that, it's like, oh, it's not this, that, or I'm going to Dooku this, or boom, here's a bomb, and then I turn around and then I make it crit, and so on and so forth.
Like, because like Aura and Django having the same loadout was nice because Aura just felt like he could actually do stuff.
Yeah,
which was nice and shows. And then where Django is like, actually, you have to make choices. And I think Leia going down to 6 is interesting as well.
See, I don't mind that because she's lost the bomber, the gunner, like
and I think that makes it fine.
Got to look at what goes on her, but it's. I mean, you saw against your bombardment drone 4 dice 3 blanks. Nothing she can do.
That's what I mean. Like I think that's why she's fine. Is that she's gone down to 6, but her toys are gone a bit.
Yeah. Although I think
so she's just a solid ship.
The first thing I would do is take Magva off K2SO and put Magva on Leia.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because then it's like, I don't care if I'm stressed. I don't need you to do the lock action. I just need you to shoot me. I'm probably taking damage.
I mean, honestly, there might even have been a world where, like, Aura gets, or Django gets Zam crew.
Yeah,
that would have been interesting. But neither here nor there. We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, it's fine.
We tried Balance of the Force. Balance of the Force is interesting, guys. Give it a go. It really makes you think.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be bringing you some more over the next few weeks because why not?
But feel free to try it at your club nights.
Yeah,
because it's just something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with AMG points, if you don't have any feeling for the 312 points, because we're trying out new points, and that's why we can do some silly stuff.
But it's just all about flying something different, flying against something different. So there's not Republic Arcs and B-Wings and so on and so on and so on. But yeah, we'll do this for a few weeks until we get the new points. Then we'll probably actually just sit and look at new points because we'll be properly practicing for Cornish Nationals then. Because I'm once again going to make final tables. So Sam's waiting around for me, so I don't need to worry about dating.
We're in Cornwall. I can just go home.
No buses that day.
You deleting the buses?
No, I'm just going to make sure they're on strike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go when your chauffeur says you can go.
Fair enough. I'm pretty sure that's not how chauffeuring works, but we can go with it.
It is in my car.
Fair enough.
Right. On that note, we will wrap it up because we've sidetracked her quite a lot. Thanks for listening, guys.
Sidetracks are the best. Sidetracks are the best tracks. And ta-ta.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.